Hey guys, Ty here from Vive Group and welcome back to a very overdue episode of 5 Question Friday, my favorite episode of the week. You guys ask questions, I have a go at answering them, and it's been a minute, it's been a couple of years, so let's dust off the cobwebs and dive right in. And you guys came through with some awesome questions this week, so let's get into it. First question, 3 tips on being a better leader. This is a huge one. When I decided to come back to Vive Group, the first thing I did was a bunch, 80-something free one-on-one coaching calls with boxers around the world. And the biggest standout that box owners were struggling with was leadership. There's a massive difference between being the boss, being the leader, and it's a skill set. It's something you have to commit to. So here's my 3 tips on being a better leader. Number 1, build a leadership routine. Treat it like a skill set because that's what it is. It's not a natural ability that you're just going to pick up. It's not something you're going to rise to the occasion when needed. It's something you're really going to have to work on. So set a schedule, work out what it is that makes you a good leader, what it is that your team needs from you, and build it into a routine. Things like monthly coach catch-ups, put that in your schedule. There you go. You're a better leader immediately. You're not going to forget it. Weekly team briefs, making sure that everyone knows what's going on, what's needed of them, and that you're there for them every single week. Put it in your calendar. Boom. It's a routine. Finish every conversation and this is one of the best habits. Finish every conversation by asking your team members, is there anything I can do for you? Because the truth is, being a great leader, being a good leader even, it's a position of service, right? You're not a general doling out orders on people. You're there to empower your team. You're there to say, what do you need to do your job the best possible? It's my job to make sure that you have that. Yeah, it's being a leader. It's a position of service, not a position of power. I can't say that enough. So number 1, build a leadership routine. Number 2, take responsibility. You guys knew this was coming, all right? Everything that happens in your box either happens because you cause it or because you allow it. And it's so easy when a staff member screws up something to just get angry at them, especially if it's a big screw up. But the truth is, you either caused that to happen or you allowed it to happen by your inaction. Either way, it's on you. Everything is on you. All the bad stuff especially is on you. All the good stuff that happens, I got bad news, that's on your team. Give them a pat on the back. It's lonely at the top, but that's the way it is. But take responsibility. Yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend, or actually we're going to get to that in the next one. Here we go. Tip number 3, there's that rust. Tip number 3, commit to being a better leader. Like I said, this is a skill set. It's something that you've got to train at. So sit down and go, okay, I'm going to spend the next 6 months consciously becoming a better leader. Easiest way to start, read books. My 3 recommendations are Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. You guys knew that was coming, obviously. Next one is The New 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. I love that. All of his books are amazing. And the third one is Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. Someone's nicked that book from me, but they're 3 amazing books. So start by reading books. Number 2, ask for feedback. This is scary because you're worried about what they might say. Maybe they might give you the truth. That's scary. But ask your team, ask those around you who observe you, how can I be a better leader? How would you honestly rate me as a leader? Please, I want the negative feedback more than the positive feedback here. That's what's going to make me better. So ask for feedback. And then lastly, find a mentor. We've all got someone that we look up to, that we can see as a leader that we strive to be like. Sit them down and say, hey, can I buy you coffee? Can I buy you lunch once a month? And we can just talk about how you manage your team, how you inspire people, how you treat leadership like a position of service. So the 3 tips on being a better leader are, number 1, build a leadership routine. Number 2, take responsibility for everything. And number 3, commit to becoming a better leader. Love this question. Awesome one to open with. All right. Next question. When and what should I start delegating and outsourcing? Again, amazing question. The thing that holds most boxers back, especially when they hit a plateau, is the owner, is just the bandwidth that you have, right? You can only juggle so many balls at once before you start dropping those balls, letting your team down, letting your members down. If you are the conduit for everything in your gym, if everything has to pass through you, eventually that bandwidth's going to fill up and things are going to slow down. So you need to delegate, you need to outsource, you need to trust people, but what and when is very important. So when should you start delegating? Before it starts to affect Let's try that again. Here's that rust. Woo. Before it starts to affect your members' experience, right? At some point, you'll know when it's time to delegate, when you start letting your members down, when you start letting your team down, because you've just got so much going on that things start slipping through the cracks. If you're wise enough to see that coming and you can start delegating before that, awesome. But if you're in a position now where you can already see that happening, and be honest, it probably is, you need to start delegating. You need to start trusting people, handing off some of the responsibility so that you can free up your time to focus on what's really important. And then the second box we have to tick before we start to outsource or delegate something is that task has been systematized, right? Don't just take this jumble of how to do something that's in your head but not defined and written down and has KPIs attached to it. Don't take that jumble and hand it off to someone else, because all you're doing is just passing on your ineffectiveness to someone else. And then they're going to screw it up because there's no guidelines, there's no system, there's no KPIs, and then you're going to get cranky at them. So make sure that it's systematized first. Make sure that you're handing them a package that's ready to go. They just have to follow the bouncing ball. So that's the when. The what, start simple. Start with things like monthly reports, social media posts, super simple data entry into like Zenplan or Whatify, that kind of stuff. Start with the easy stuff. The stuff that if someone messes it up, whether it's a VA in the Philippines or whether it's one of your team in the box, if they screw it up, which they will, it's going to happen. That's what happens when you hand off responsibility for the first little bit. It's not going to be the end of the world. Don't start with membership cancellations and things that really impact the members like this. Because if they screw that up first before they get the hang of things, before you can see whether they're ready for the responsibility, that's going to be a bad day. So start small, start simple. And then what else? Stuff that you suck at, stuff that just drains you. There's certain things that you are the best at in your box. There's certain things that you should be doing because you're the one who just kicks ass at it. And then there's a lot of things that you suck at. There's a lot of things that it drains your energy. It's not what you signed up for. And if you can hand that off, that's going to give you so much more bandwidth, so much more energy. And let's be honest, it's going to keep you happier for longer. And that's a big part of this. Running a box, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You have to turn up to work and at least in a small part each day, look forward to it. And if your to-do list is full of shit that you don't enjoy, it's going to make it hard. So start offloading some of the stuff that you suck at and that you don't enjoy. Awesome question. What and when should I start delegating and outsourcing? Before it starts to affect your members, when it's systematized, simple tasks, and stuff that you suck at. Awesome, awesome question. All right, next up is a bunch of questions. I didn't want to just ignore these questions, so I'm going to batch them all together. You guys sent through some really, really sweet, amazing questions about me being back. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate you guys. So I'm just going to rapid fire answer the next kind of what's going on with me questions. All right, here we go. Is the Vive group alive again with Ty? Yes, it is. We're back. I'm stoked. It's awesome. Where have I been? I've been in the forest. I've been on my journey. During COVID, I switched. I burnt out from coaching, from doing this, from Vive Group. I switched to being a photographer. It was amazing. It was exactly what I needed. But now I'm inspired. I'm back. I'm fired up, and I'm happier than ever. Ty, how are you? I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you? Do I regret having a break? Not at all. It was absolutely the right thing at the right time for me. It allowed me to regain a perspective and hopefully not make the same mistakes again. So I'm stoked to be back. I don't regret having a break though. And thank you guys so much for the love. All right. Before we move on to questions 4 and 5, very quickly, I want to tell you guys about what we've got going on. I'll keep it quick. Skip forward if you don't care. The Vive Tribe. One of the big things I had to decide on when I decided to come back was, what's this going to look like? I'm not going to do the same thing again. That's insanity. It has to be different, and it has to be appropriate for what people need. It has to be better. And one thing that kept on ringing in the back of my head after traveling to 56 countries, working with 1,600 boxers around the world, was that almost every box was the same in terms of their needs. It reminded me, you guys will be familiar with this, it reminded me of a saying from Greg Glassman, and I've just tweaked it a little bit to: the needs of box owners vary by type, not by degree. Damn, I think I messed that up. Let's go again. The needs of box owners differ by degree, not type. This is live. I'm not going to edit it, guys. You know I'm rusty, but you know I'm back and I'm excited. The point is, whether you're a box in Mexico City or Amsterdam or Johannesburg or Sydney, you're almost certainly going through the same thing as each other. Now, those things will happen at different times and to different degrees, but you're all going through the same problems. So I wanted to put together a program where not only could I help people face-to-face, one-on-one, through group coaching, through one-on-one coaching and stuff, but where you guys could support and help each other, where you could learn from each other, because I'm one guy, I don't know everything. But if we can get together a group of amazing, motivated box owners who don't have all the answers, but they're willing to work to find them out, and bring some of the amazing subject matter experts that I've met from around the world, bring them into, we could create something really special. So long story short, that's what Vive Tribe is. It's group coaching mixed with community support. We do monthly workshops, monthly group calls, coaching calls. What else do we do? We've got daily articles, action questions, accountability posts. So every day there's something going on in this tribe. It's an awesome place to be. We've got a 2-week trial, so anyone who wants to give it a go, jump in 2 weeks for free. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's not for you. You can jump out. And next month's theme, this month we're working on raising prices. Next month I'm excited about, we're working on team development. So building a structure and leadership for your coaches. And then we're actually doing a second workshop specifically on the coach development program, building a 3-month or a 6-month CDP. Excited. All right, enough plugs. Let's get back to the questions. Question number 4. If you were opening a Jiu-Jitsu gym, how would it differ to a CrossFit gym? The short version is it wouldn't. So some of you guys know this, some of you don't. Starting 21 years ago, I started managing at the ripe old age of 16. I started managing a martial arts school and teaching martial arts. As soon as I turned 18, I opened my own martial arts school and taught that. And that is what gave me the leg up once it came time to open CrossFit boxes. The model, it's almost identical, and it's definitely evolved over the years. What we do now is nothing like what we did back then. But I've had plenty of martial arts schools, specifically Jujitsu gyms. I love Jujitsu. I've had plenty of Jujitsu gyms work with me one-on-one and come to the seminars, and it's almost identical. We just kind of change the wording. The nomenclature changes. That's what happens when I try to use big words, guys. I stumble. The wording changes a little bit, but for the most part, with the exception of kind of how we onboard at the beginning there, the most part is the same. The retention strategies are the same. The coaching strategies are the same, even if what we're coaching is completely different. The leadership, the systems, the marketing, it's all pretty much the same. What we're talking about here is boutique small group training on a monthly payment cycle. It's the same thing. So yes, I love Jiu-Jitsu gyms. I think Jiu-Jitsu gyms are the most underplayed of all fitness centers. I think they should be way bigger and way more successful than they are. They've got at least as much potential as CrossFit or functional fitness boxes. So if you're a Jiu-Jitsu gym owner out there, hit me up. I want to work with you because I love Jiu-Jitsu gyms. Question number 5, last question for today. How do I target and promote to a specific market? Tons of people around and I'm unable to reach them. Awesome question. So firstly, most people start by going backwards with this. They start at the wrong end of the answer. They start with the medium, the platform. In this case, let's say Facebook ads. I need to run Facebook ads. Well, hang on. Why do you need to run Facebook ads? What brought you to Facebook ads? Probably it's just when you think more members, you think marketing, which isn't true. When you think marketing, you think paid marketing, also not true. And when you think paid marketing, you only think Facebook ads, also not true. But that's our go-to. We just go, I need more members, Facebook ads. It's the wrong way around. We need to add a little bit more logic to it. So we're going to use a structure that a good friend of mine, Cody from Wad Sites, taught me. It's incredible and it's so simple. It's RAM, right? It's an acronym, RAMM. Result, audience, message, and medium. Nearly messed it up. First, the result. What's the result you want? More members isn't specific enough. Where do you want those members? Do you want morning class members? Do you want lunchtime members? Do you want evening members? Do you want private coaching members? Do you want 8-week challenge members? Be really specific about what you want. Is it just more members forever? No. What class? If you can get as specific as, I need more members for my 6 a.m. class. Nice. That's a good place to start. So now we've got the result. Audience. Okay, well, who's going to give us that result, right? If it's a midday class, we're gonna look at people, working in the office buildings nearby. If it's an early morning class, we might be looking at people before they head off to work. There's a massive difference between those that'll do your 11 a.m. class and who'll do, a 9 p.m. class. Yeah. So you have to define your audience. Oh, we've got a nice little sheet here, and we break that audience down as much as possible into age, gender, location, job type, social habits, wants, needs, concerns, reason they chose you, reason they stay, where do they go for information, and where do they spend their money. So we get really specific when we create the avatar of who the audience that'll give us the result is. Then the first M, message. What's the message that's going to resonate with these people? What's the message that's going to give them the aha moment? If we've decided that our audience is 35 to 45-year-old mum, that message is going to be hugely different than if we're trying to go for, local sports people who want to, former sports stars who want to switch and compete in CrossFit, or people who want to come to the midday class because, they work at the office building, they got back pain from sitting all day and they need to move, get up and go. So what is the message that's going to convey that you're the right place for these people? That's the first M. And then the last M is medium. Where are you going to find these people? Maybe it is on Facebook through paid advertising. Maybe it's on Instagram. Maybe you're starting a teens class and you're going to paid advertising through TikTok. But I want you to open your mind a little bit, because everyone just goes to paid advertising. What about unpaid? What about face-to-face? Yeah. What about church groups? What about local mums groups, Facebook groups where people catch up, getting your members together? If this audience is just a parallel to your current members, then maybe you have a bring a friend week. The medium doesn't always have to be a digital medium. I know it's easier. I know it's convenient because you can put together a Facebook ads while you're sitting there in your pajamas and shoot it out, and you've not had to do anything. But there's a lot to be said for getting off your ass, going into a local business and teaching a mobility class at their lunchtime so that the team doesn't have lower back pain, right? Or going to a local school group and doing a free fitness session so you can fill your kids' classes. Get out there, get into the community, open your mind when it comes to medium. So how do I target and promote to a specific market? Tons of people around, and I'm unable to reach them. RAM, results, audience, message, and medium. And that's question number 5, guys. A little bit rusty, a little bit dusty, but we got there in the end. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you already have, if you've got a question that you'd like featured on 5 Question Friday next week, please shoot me a message, drop it down below in the comments. If you want it to be anonymous, by all means, just let me know. Guys, I'm so stoked to be back. I couldn't be happier. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Have an incredible weekend. I appreciate you all. See you next time.